Hey dealers, James here at Amendment Wholesale, and I am in the studio with one of our manufacturers, one of our favorite, there you go, CZ, and we're super pumped to have him in here, and we're actually going to do a little bit of a deep dive into some of the handguns that they have here. I am here with Jared, and he is a competition shooter in the handguns. Apparently he's really good, I guess. You want to brag?
I do, okay.
No, you don't want to brag. No, he's humble. So, Jared, what do you do over at CZ? And just tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll dive into these handguns.
Yeah, so at CZ, I work in the sales department.
Okay.
Primarily handling distributors such as yourself.
Hey, all right.
And then on the shooting side of things, I shoot for CZ on their USPSA team.
Nice.
I'm a Grandmaster competitor in carry optics, production, and limited.
Sweet.
Primarily shoot production because I'm still young, got young eyes. I like to shoot iron sights, but
I like that.
I do shoot a dot a little bit.
Okay, all right. So you've got all that background, and you're in sales and everything like that. So you're the subject matter expert here. Let's dive into some of these handguns. Maybe work from the P10s over here to this guy. We'll talk about in a little bit. But tell us all about these, and tell us what really makes them stand out above the rest.
Yeah. So the main reason I want to talk about the P10C is because we're well known for our steel frame guns.
Okay.
I mean, that's where most people are going to be familiar with the 75 series steel frame guns. We're kind of a late entrant into the striker fired world. We wanted to make sure we did a good job on it.
Sure.
So we came in a little later than a lot of companies, and obviously that is, as an FL dealer, you're probably seeing that is the bulk of what you're selling these days is striker fired polymer handguns from a variety of manufacturers. Now, where our striker fired gun, our first main entrance there, our flagship striker fired gun is going to be our P10C here.
Okay.
So it's a compact size gun. I like to say it's large enough to shoot, small enough to carry. So the big changes we did from other manufacturers, we made sure we stuck with what we're known for, which is great ergonomics on our handgun.
Okay.
So compared to a lot of guns you'll see, is that we do have still a very ergonomic grip, a little bit more rounded with good sharp checkering on the grip. We also include metal sights on these. And one of the features they're well known for is actually the trigger is normally considered very good for a striker fired gun. Otherwise, standard features you're going to see on our P10C series is it's a 15+1. In the unfortunate restricted states, we do offer it in a 10-round version.
Unfortunately.
Has metal sights on it. These are also luminescent so that it does glow in the dark.
Nice.
We also make this in a variety of other configurations, including different colored grips. There is some optic ready versions, some suppressor ready versions.
Okay.
But the standard black is our flagship. This was the first one out.
Nice.
It is my favorite. It is my primary carry gun as well. So I have shot them a little bit. Some of the changes also you'll see from other manufacturers are these generally are regarded as having a very good trigger on them for a striker gun.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not as good as a hammer gun. That's my favorite thing, but for a striker fired gun, the triggers are quite good on this.
Not bad. And what's the pound pull on it?
They'll generally be somewhere around 4.5 or 5.
Yeah,
in
beautiful.
my experience from the samples I've tested.
Cool. Right. And that is your favorite. That's your flagship right there. And now we're getting a little smaller there.
So newer into our P10 series, we've added the P10 Micro. So as you'll see, it's a quite small gun.
Yeah.
This is a single stack, 7+1.
Okay.
Still fits the same design philosophies of the C. So on the Micro, same as we're keeping with our P10 line is, it's a very ergonomic gun. Keeps the sharp checkering as well as still having metal sights. And as a comparison to the P10C, you'll actually find that the gun is quite a bit smaller in all dimensions and substantially thinner as well.
Yeah, that's nice. And when have those hit the market?
We released these at the end of last year.
Okay, all right. So these are just starting to be on shelves, and people are starting to. What's the feedback from the smaller ones there?
They've been popular. Most of the feedback is generally that they are quite shootable, because a lot of times when you get into a micro gun, a small gun, they get a lot harder to shoot. So we did keep it slightly bigger than probably what you're going to see on some manufacturers, but we do find it to be a very shootable gun.
Because you said just a little over 3 inches on the barrel, right?
Yeah.
And some of the other ones, they might be 2 3/4 or whatever. Yeah, that. I want to shoot that. I definitely want to shoot that. And what was it called again? The model on that one?
This is the P10 Micro. Or
Micro.
P10M.
P10M. Okay. All right. And anything else you want to say on those two?
I think that covers the feature set very well on them. Obviously, it is a full line of handguns, so beyond what's on the table here, we also make a subcompact version of this. It's a 12+1 gun with a 3.5-inch barrel. And then we also make a full size with a 4.5-inch barrel. And then we have a competition version that actually has a 5-inch barrel.
5-inch barrel. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's move on to this beautiful blue thing here.
So this falls more in line with my specialty, which is competitive shooting.
Fair enough.
So right. The TS2 that we've got here, this was designed as an improvement from the original tack sport that some of our fans probably remember. It was discontinued around 2016.
Okay.
So it was our original entrance into a large frame handgun targeted around IPSC standard or USPSA limited divisions.
Okay, gotcha.
So so you'll see that's a bigger mag than our standard 75 stuff. And that's because the gun is built around 40 cal. So
it's big.
This one we did just release this in 40 for our specific competitive shooters, but more importantly for just the general audience, we offer it 9mm as you see here.
Absolutely.
So larger frame mags. It is a single action only gun. So compared to a lot of our standard 75 stuff, it is not double action also.
Okay.
So it's single action only. Thumb safety, no firing pin block. You've got good fiber optic sights on it.
Yeah.
Extended safety, extended mag release, blue aluminum grips. Now, where people are going to wonder what's different from this from the original TS, the big changes you're going to see are you have sharper checkering on the front and rear of the grip.
Okay.
Higher undercut, more in line with what you see on our Shadow 2, as well as you'll notice the trigger guard and slide dimensions match closer to what the Shadow 2 has on them. So that more squared off modern trigger guard, which is we find popular with competitive shooters, as well as the wider, lower slide.
Okay.
So it gives a lot more purchase for slide manipulations from a standard 75 or an original tack sport or something along those lines.
And I think it's I think you brought up a good point that dealers need to understand this is single action versus double action on the
Shadow 2.
The Shadow 2. So that's a distinction that if somebody comes in and looks at these, they need to know those differences, right?
And with that, big thing about the single action guns that you'll see is a Shadow 2 in single action mode has a very good trigger on them, probably from the factory at around 3.5 pounds. These will generally break in around 2 or slightly under.
Oh, wow.
So the trigger is quite a bit lighter. While the sear cage is the same in them, the trigger system is slightly different as far as like the trigger return spring and everything. So they do result in quite a bit lighter trigger.
That's another thing that you should know as a dealer, And so tell me, I got to ask, you being the competitive shooter here, what do you like about it? What does it do for you out there on the competition?
So from a competitive world, obviously, I would stick with 40 because that's what you want in limited division. Okay. But this gun is going to come more or less ready to go out of the box. So you've already got your fiber optic front sight on them. Okay. You do have fixed rear. It has a mag well on it. And, the capacity gets it where it's competitive in the division. So in a 40 cal gun, once you add the base pads to it, you're going to see a 20+1 gun that competes with all the primary entrants in that division.
Nice.
With the 9mm version here, the factory capacity is actually going to be 20 rounds.
Yeah, okay.
So you get slightly more once you add base pads, but generally a general consumer is not going to need to do that, but it just makes a very nice target pistol for the range.
And it just feels good, yeah. You give it to anybody that's out on the range with you, they're going to be, wow, that shoots really nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most people are shocked at the trigger on it.
I believe that. We'll have to, I look forward to the range.
Range day!
Okay, so that's absolutely beautiful. Now, this has been sitting in front of me the whole time, and it's a big deal, and I really want you to talk about it.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? Tell everyone out there what's going on with this new guy.
I'm sure several people have probably seen on our social media as well as a variety of dealer social media. We did have a new entrance into our Scorpion lineup.
Awesome.
So this is our new Scorpion Micro. It's called the Scorpion 3 Plus Micro.
Okay.
So sticking with the original Scorpion Micros, we did keep that shorter, I think it's a 4.14 inch barrel or right around there. It does have an extended flash can on it.
Right.
So we've got these taller sights that are slightly elevated from the old sights. They are going to give a little bit better co-witness in the lower third with modern optics we see people use, such as the aim points or the Swamp Foxes or similar optics. Other features down here, you'll see the new style grip that has less of an angle than the original grip. It's more of an American style grip from the European grip. What I like about these is it generally makes the safety have less interference with my hand, which was a common thing we heard from consumers. And then we have the new AR style mag release. It is ambidextrous on both sides. And the bolt release is moved down here, but we did also keep the standard paddle so you can still slap the gun to charge it. We also have a little bit more clearance for your hand on the rail here. With this is cut back slightly, and we did go to polymer, which due to consumer feedback, we found that the aluminum often heated up a little quick whenever you were using a suppressor with the gun. So we made it a little bit more user-friendly in that regard.
It's just a sharp-looking Scorpion. I mean, it's still the same old Scorpion, but it's got some new looks. And one of the new features is the magazine. Tell us about the new magazines.
Yeah, so one reason I want to mention that last here is that the new magazine is actually backwards compatible with your old gun. So it still has a notch to lock into the paddle release style guns, but it also has this new magazine cut for working with the AR style mag release.
Fair enough.
So they are backwards compatible with all your old Scorpions, and the new mags will continue working with them.
Awesome. Okay, and then on the back there, it looks like you can mount things. So what can go on the back there?
Yeah, so from the factory, we ship it with this metal end cap that has a sling mount for a QD cup. And then you can also still use your braces from SB Tactical and similar companies that worked on your old Scorpion, as well as their new designs.
That's good, because we have all those, and we have the Sylvan Arms adapters and all that good stuff, so that's awesome. All right, so that's a great overview of these handguns and the new micro. So let's speak directly to the FFL dealer right now. What do they need to know about these handguns, and why will they sell off their shelves?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, talking about the P10C, the biggest thing you're going to find on there is the ergonomics of the gun.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
You put that in someone's hand, and it's
nice.
going to present your customer another great option.
It's good.
I mean, they might already be planning on something particular, but you do want to present options to your consumer, and it is a great option, especially with the ergonomics and the quality and the price they end.
Great, and that's absolutely on the P10. So what about, what would you tell an FFL dealer to... Again, I think it's the ergonomics, to tell you the truth, but what else would you tell them on that?
So beyond just the ergonomics of the TS2 is you do have that amazing trigger. This is something that for a standard consumer coming in your store, one, you have the very nice looking blue grips. It's going to attract attention. People want to hold it. People want to touch it. People want to look at it.
It's good.
And putting it in their hand is what's going to make them feel the trigger, feel the ergonomics, and know if they want it or not.
I agree.
It gives you a nice elevated option in a world where striker-fired guns are the most popular option currently.
That's brilliant. And then the micro, you know, you got a new version of an old gun that people might know of. Is that kind of what you want to tell them, or?
Yeah, and I would actually recommend for most dealers to keep both in stock.
Absolutely.
I mean, people do like a lot of the features of the old.
It's true.
The old gun. This had some redesigned features. It beyond just the new features, though, it gives another set of options to the customer. So the new mag release, the new grip. It is a slightly more expensive version, so it's great to have both options. But the features really fit into the modern sense of modern sporting rifles, the AR style mag releases and stuff. It really fits into that consumer market.
Oh, that is a great description there for the dealer. That's really good on these micros. But again, the ergonomics, I got to feel them, so we've got to go to the range.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a spectacular idea. I was waiting for the animation.
Range day!
All right, so we're going out to the range. I want to see some of this competitive shooting. What kind of cool trick shots can you do that you could show us?
All right, we could probably shoot a little bit of steel, show some samples of fast shooting. I mean, that's kind of more in my wheelhouse.
I like that. Let's go. All right, so we're out of the studio. Feels so good to be out on the range. I'm here with Jared. We're over here at the pistol range. He's gonna do some awesome shooting for us. Can't wait to see it. It's gonna be amazing, right?
I'll do my best.
You're gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it. I know he will. Competition shooter here. We've got the Shadow, the Micro. What else do we shoot? The P10.
P10 series, the entire series, the
Everything
Micro.
nice. Everything we talked about in the studio, we're gonna go see you do it.
Let's go.
Let's go. P10 Micro. P10S. P10 Sharp. We sell a lot of these dealers. Here we go. Ready? Beautiful. P10F, this is the full-size version. We've gone through every single version. Here comes full frame. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. I like the full frame a lot. Obviously, a good can, not too bad. Beautiful. TS2, here we go. So good. Too much fun.